Hello there. If you are new here, my name is Michelle Ferré and I am a 4th grade teacher in Maryland. Obviously, due to COVID-19, I am teaching from home. Maryland schools have been closed since March 13th, and as of the date I'm filming this, which is Wednesday, April 15th, we are supposed to stay closed through April 24th, and we have not really heard beyond that. So I thought for today's video, I would take you all along with me while I am filming for the day so I can show you what my schedule is like, how I'm managing my time, and how I'm creating a work-life balance. So let's get into it. Currently, it is about 8 a.m., which is when my workday starts. I work every day from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon with a 2-hour break for lunch from 11 to 1. So before I jump into things, I wanted to just give an overview of my schedule. I have been waking up and doing my morning routine, which is a little bit different than it used to be. I did talk about this in my last video, but I keep it pretty simple. I wake up, I spend about 10 minutes reading a book in bed just to kind of get my brain going. I get ready, I go downstairs, I light a candle, and then I eat breakfast. Then from 8 to 9:30 is my morning block, which consists of either meetings or connecting with students or professional development. Then I have my instruction block from 9:30 to 11. I have a break for lunch from 11 to 1. I have office hours from 1 to 2:30, and then I have planning from 2:30 to 4. So as we go through the day, I will talk about each of those blocks in a little bit more detail so that you know exactly what I'm doing during that time. But right now, I need to head downstairs to my workspace to get ready for the day. When I'm coming downstairs, Billy is usually leaving because he's, essential. Bye, love you.
Love you.
If you saw my last video, then you already know this, but I'm gonna show it to you again. I have set up my workspace at my kitchen table. It's very basic. I have a coaster, because I typically have a bottle of water with me. Then I have this little gold organizer, which came from Target with a notebook and my iPad and any papers I need. Then I have a little pencil cup with a back scratcher, super essential, and just some pens and markers. I have my laptop. This is a 13-inch MacBook Pro. This is my personal laptop. And then I have a wireless charger because for me, that is way easier throughout the day to be able to put my phone on there and be able to charge it rather than plugging it in and unplugging it. So it is that first time block in the morning from 8 to 9:30, and one of the things I have to do during that time is meetings. So staff meetings, team meetings. This morning I do have a staff meeting from 8:15 to 9 through Google Meet, so I'm gonna jump on and get that done. So for connecting with students, I do a couple of different things. About once a week, I do try to do a Google Meet. You heard me mention Google Meet before. It is a video conferencing website or app through Google. It is an alternative to Zoom or Skype. I've mentioned this before in my 7 websites and apps for distance learning video, which if you haven't seen, I will link that for you. But my district is not allowing us to use Zoom at all. So if we want to connect with students or parents or staff members through video, we have to use Google Meet. When I do a class meet, I typically start by displaying a slide. Now I got this idea from Josie from Maniacs in the Middle. So let me quickly show you all what that looks like. So this is just a slide that I made through Google Slides, very simple. When I join a Google Meet, I will start by presenting my screen and I will have this showing. So that way when students join the Google Meet, this is the first thing that they see. I give them a little bit of direction. So it says when you enter, mute yourself, make sure your video is on, think of a peach and pit from this week to share. A peach is a good thing and a pit is a bad thing. And then I usually give them a schedule. That way they know what to expect. We'll spend about 10 minutes sharing our peach and pit from the week. We'll play a game. So I've done a couple different games. Pictionary is a lot of fun. On my iPad, I will actually share my screen and use a virtual whiteboard like Zyteboard or Jamboard. I also talked about those in that 7 websites and apps video, so go back and watch that if you haven't already seen it. And I will draw different things and kids will type into the chat their guesses, and that's so much fun. I also sometimes play 20 questions where I put a mystery object in a bag and they take turns asking questions. They have to be yes or no questions, and by the end of 20 of them, they have to try to figure out what what the mystery item in the bag is. I've also done scavenger hunts where they have to go find things. So it's a lot of fun. And the last 5 minutes is reserved for questions and wrap up. But obviously days like today when I have a meeting for a good chunk of that morning time, I don't necessarily have the time to do a class Google Meet. So instead, I will just post something on my Google Classroom. Usually I ask them how their day is going. I share something about myself. I usually attach a picture or I'll even record a short video. So that is what I'm gonna do today. I have this little game idea that I wanna share with my students. Hello class, I miss you all so much. I say that every day because every day that goes by, I'm missing you all more and more. This morning, I thought we could play a little game. You are going to be commenting something that makes you happy, but it has to be just one word, and there's a trick. So every time someone comments their word of the thing that makes them happy, the next person has to comment a word that starts with the last letter of the word above them. So let me give you an example. If Miss Ferré commented books, because books are something that make me happy, books ends in an S. So the next person would have to comment a word that starts with the letter S that is something that makes them happy. For example, sunshine. And then sunshine ends with an E, so the next person would have to comment something that starts with an E. So it will get a little bit tricky. You can comment more than once, but you cannot comment more than once in a row. So if Miss Ferré comments and then another student comments, then Miss Ferré could comment again. So we're gonna try to keep this going as long as we can. Try to think of some different things that make you happy that start with different letters, because you never know what letter your word might have to start with. All right, I love you all, I miss you, and I will see you soon. So in order to add this video to my Google Classroom, I'm gonna go down to share, and then I'm gonna swipe over and go to more. So this shows me all my different applications. I can actually share directly to Google Classroom, but instead I'm gonna add it to my drive because I want to be able to add some text, and I would rather type it on my computer than try to type it on my phone. But if I save it to my drive, then when I go into Google Classroom on my computer, I'll be able to attach it to my drive. Hopefully that makes sense. So once I select my Google Drive, I'm going to select the folder, which I want it just to go into my drive. I don't want it in any specific folder. I'm gonna click save here, and I'm going to click upload. So it'll take a minute to upload, and then I will see it in my drive. I know the lighting is not the best, but bear with me. You can see the video file is now in my Google Drive, so I'm gonna go back to Google Classroom. I'm just under the Stream tab, which is where you can just leave like a comment or a message to your students using text or images or videos. So I have already typed out the directions. I'm gonna come down to Add, go to Google Drive, and I'm gonna select My Drive. So right here is that video file. I'm going to click Add. And then now it is attached. It still looks grayed out because the video is still processing since I just added it to my drive. And then I'm going to select post. So now I'm basically just refreshing my Google Classroom. I'm commenting back to students, and I check my email pretty frequently throughout the day just in case any students or parents or staff members are having difficulty. So that's what I'm gonna continue doing. It is now 9:30, which means I'm moving into the instruction block of time. This lasts until 11 a.m. Now, my team teachers and I decided to schedule our assignments on Google Classroom. So technically today's assignment already posted. I didn't have to do anything because we scheduled it, and we're kind of dividing up the responsibility so we don't have to schedule it every single day. A different teacher is responsible for each different day of the week. But I do have to continuously check back on my Google Classroom to see if students have commented any questions, or if I've gotten any emails, or if I've gotten any calls or texts through Google Voice. Now, Google Voice is a fantastic service if you haven't used it. It gives you the ability to call families or text families without giving away your personal number, because Google Voice assigns you a different number. So we're using that a lot to be able to communicate with families. So sometimes during this block of time, I'm actually holding a live Google Meet, but I do record it and post it on Google Classroom in case any students could not attend. But it really depends on what the topic is for that day, because some of them, it just doesn't require a live lesson, but other ones it does. So today I'm actually not recording any live lessons. I'm just checking in and making sure that students are understanding. I did want to show you all how I'm kind of keeping track of my day because I feel like I'm doing so many things and sometimes it gets really tricky to keep track of what I'm actually doing. This is Google Keep. It's one of my favorite Google products or websites, applications to use. So Google Keep is a way to store notes. So you'll see up here where it says take a note, you can click and you can take notes almost like sticky notes, but you also can create checklists. If you click these three little ellipses that say more and click show checkboxes, you can actually turn it into a checklist, which is what I've done to create these checklists here. I already had a before school checklist, an after school checklist, and a Friday checklist, but now I've actually made an e-learning checklist. Because I feel like I'm all over the place, I need one set list of things I should be doing. You will see I have it kind of broken down by my time blocks, which are in all capital letters. So during my connecting with students / meetings time, I did already post my morning message, I responded to students, and I had my staff meeting. So I can check all those off, which means I can check off that time block. Now I'm in instruction. I do not have a live Google Meet today, so I'm gonna go ahead and click that off, but I do need to be responding to student comments on lessons. So I'm going to continue to do that, but I'm gonna wait to check it off until after that time block is done. But as you can see, I have my whole day planned out and it's just really helping to keep me on track. It is now 11 o'clock, which means I have 2 hours of free time to do as I please. I have a 2-hour lunch from 11 to 1. Now, I've come upstairs because I'm going to change. I've actually been wearing sweatpants. Oh, look at Zora laying in the sun. Hello, pretty girl.
How's it going? Good.
I wear sweatpants all morning because my bottom half is not on camera, but I do go ahead and change into leggings at this time because I go for a walk at the beginning of my lunch break. I have been sitting at my computer for 3 hours and I just need to get up and move. So I'm gonna go ahead and change into some leggings and go for a walk.
Are you having a good day? Okay, good.
So for this first walk of the day, I typically go for a 30-minute walk. I have this great little trail that takes exactly 30 minutes. It's kind of cold today, so I'm wearing a jacket. It's in the 40s, which isn't cold, but it's cold for mid-April. But during my podcast, it's a time just to get my mind off of school and off of everything going on. So I love to listen to podcasts. Today I'm actually finishing an episode of my own podcast, which sounds vain, but it's really not. Bridget and I have a podcast together. If you don't know, it's called Teaching to the Top. It's all about time management and organization and productivity as a teacher. And our most recent episode was actually a week in Bridget's life. So I was not there when she recorded it, so I'm listening to her episode. I started it during my walks yesterday and I'm finishing it today. And then I'm going to listen to the most recent episode of Office Ladies, which I also love. If you are an Office fan, you definitely need to check it out. Once my walk is done, I am ready for lunch because I am starving. Typically, I will eat leftovers from last night's dinner, or I'll have a salad or soup, something super easy. And my #1 rule for lunch is that I cannot eat at my workspace. If I eat at my computer, I feel like I'm never really getting a break and I'm just in front of my computer working all day. So I like to change it up. Some days I will actually eat outside, but today everything is kind of wet because it rained overnight. Or I will eat on my couch and I will watch Netflix, and that is my plan for today. After I listen to the Office Ladies podcast, which goes episode by episode and gives little behind the scenes facts about the episode, I love to go back and watch the actual episode. So today I listened to the one on Dwight's speech, so that's what I'm gonna watch while I eat my lunch. It is now noon, which is typically when I finish eating my lunch, so that leaves me an hour to do other things. I spend this time doing a lot of different things. Some days I will do housework like dishes or laundry. Some days I will get dinner started, and some days I work on grad school. So today I'm kind of gonna do a combination. I do need to get dinner going. Billy and I are going to have chili in the crock pot, so I'm gonna get that started. And I'm gonna work on grad school because I have only 2 assessments to complete, and then I officially will have my Master of Education in Teaching and Learning. Dishwasher running in the background, but from 1 p.m. to 2:30 are my office hours. This is a time designed for me to help students if they're having tech issues or issues with the actual skill we're doing. I can do reteaching. It's just a chance for me to give students support. So let me talk a little bit about how I organize this. I primarily do my support through Google Meet. So during this time, I post on Google Classroom and I tell students I'm available on Google Meet. If you need help, go ahead and pop in, ask your question, and I can help you. I make it clear to my students that this is not a time to hang out. Of course, I do still have students who pop in and they're like, "Hi, Miss Ferré." I'm like, "Hi, how can I help you?" But it's fine because I enjoy just seeing their faces. But it's supposed to be time for me to help students. So I did learn a little trick on Google Classroom for Google Meet that I wanted to show you. So one of the issues with Google Meet is if you create the Meet through the Google Meet website, so meet.google.com, once you share that with students, they can join even if you're not in there, they can rejoin after you've left, and it just becomes a little bit of a safety concern. But Google Meet is now integrated with Google Classroom, and it no longer allows that to happen if you use the Google Meet link created in Google Classroom. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. If you click up here on the gear icon, which is the settings, and you scroll down at the bottom of the general section, you will see Meet. This is a new feature that was just recently added. So you wanna click on Generate Meet Link. This is going to be a link that you can use anytime you wanna meet with your classroom of students. Now, this button down here toggles it on and off to be visible to students. So let me save this. You will notice up here in your header, the Meet link is displayed. If you don't want it displayed all the time, you can toggle that off. The great thing about this Google Meet link is that students can only join when you, the teacher, are already in there. And once they leave, if you end the Google Meet, they cannot rejoin again. So it is a fantastic feature. If you are not using this, I highly suggest it. So let me continue to tell you about how I am using this with my class during office hours. During my office hours, I am in the Google Meet the entire time. That way, as students need help, they can pop in, ask their question, and leave. I do post a little reminder on my stream just to say, hey, I'm available from this time to this time. Because today, even though technically my office hours go until 2:30, I actually have an IEP meeting at 2 o'clock. So I'm only gonna be available to help students from 1 to 2, and then I have to jump onto a different Google Meet for that IEP meeting. But so far this has been working out really, really well. And I actually will use the split screen feature on my Mac, and I'm sure there's a way to do it on Windows, but I only use Macs. And that allows me to still be productive and get other things done during this time. So here's how the split screen works on a Mac. I have 2 tabs open right now, Google Keep and my Google Classroom. I'm gonna go ahead and drag this tab away so I actually have 2 different windows. I could actually resize this and drag it over, but the easiest way is actually to click the green button up here, and you can see it says tile window to the left or tile window to the right. So I'm gonna tile this one to the right. And then I'm gonna click on this window so it tiles this one to the left. So I now have a split screen. If I go ahead and join my Google Meet, hello. Okay, so now I could have my Google Meet going over here, and on the other side, I could be answering emails, checking student work, etc. So it just allows me to stay more productive. All right, one other thing I wanted to show you. There are times when I'm on a Google Meet for my office hours, but I need to step away for a minute. Maybe I need to go to the bathroom or I need to go grab something, and I don't want to exit out of the Google Meet. I would rather my students be able to join in, but then just know that I'm away from my computer real quick. So I already showed you my greeting slide for my morning meetings that I will have, but I created another slide, and this is just an image of a laptop. This right here is a GIF or a GIF, however you want to pronounce it. I just Googled rainbow waiting symbol or something like that, and I found this, and I added text that says, Miss Ferré stepped away from her computer, but will be back any minute. Please wait for her to get back. So what I actually will do is I will present on my Google Meet. I will present my entire screen. I will click on it, click share. So it's now showing my screen. So I will actually present this so that if a student joins in my Google Meet while I'm away, this is what they will see. And then when I come back, I can just quickly exit out of it and help them with any questions they have. My IEP meeting is now done, so it is now technically my planning time. It's a little bit after 3 o'clock, but technically my planning time is from 2:30 to 4. And during this time, I'm preparing for online learning. So I'm recording videos or doing screen recordings or scheduling assignments on Google Classroom. I'm also typically answering a lot of emails because I am my school's e-coach. I've been getting a lot of emails from staff members with questions. So let me quickly just show you what my tabs look like and what I kind of have open on my computer, because I feel like I'm just switching back and forth between a bunch of different tabs. So let me show you what that looks like. The first tab I always have up during the day is my email. Now, ordinarily in the classroom, I try to batch my email and only answer emails once a day. That way I can sit down and do it all at once. But because of distance learning, I do have to be checking it frequently. That way I can solve any problems that come up. Second tab is Google Classroom, because obviously I am in that all day long checking student assignments. Then I typically have my Google Keep, which I'll come back to that in a second. And then finally, I have my e-learning attendance spreadsheet, and I will come back to that one in a second. So let's look at Google Keep first. I need to go through and check some things off of my checklist. So during my office hours, I did post the Google Meet link for students. I did spend a little bit of time grading and commenting on student work and returning it to them so they can see my feedback. I did not enter any grades in the grade book because I'm gonna wait and do that tomorrow so I can kind of batch it rather than doing it just a little bit at a time, because our students have a week to complete each assignment. So a lot of my students just haven't gotten to it yet. So I didn't have to do that today. Mark student engagement and lesson completion on checklist. So let's go ahead and jump over here. Now, this is a spreadsheet that I created. I'm actually sharing the template with you all for free, so I will link that for you in the description box. Now, obviously right now I'm hiding my student names. My student names are typically over here on the left, but I have hidden them so you can't see them. But this is a way for me to track student engagement and assignment completion on Google Classroom. This is not being submitted anywhere. It's just a way for me to track which students are logging on to Google Classroom, either commenting or completing an assignment, and which ones are getting their assignments done by the due date, which is 1 week after the assignment is posted. Now, this is a great way for me to see who is not engaging. That way I can reach out to their family and see if I can support them somehow. So it's not a way of penalizing students for not participating or not engaging. It's just a way for me to know which families might need more support. But it's broken down by each day, which you can see up here. So this week we did not have school on Monday because it was part of our spring break. One column is for engaging on Google Classroom on that day. That means they either commented on something or submitted an assignment. They don't have to engage every single day. That's okay if they don't engage. But I do want to know if they're submitting their assignment by the due date, which is 1 week later, because if they haven't gotten it done within a week, I need to check with them and see if I can better support their family somehow. So I have that for each of the days of the week. And then at the bottom, I have the different tabs for each week. So as the weeks go on, they're already dated, and I can just click on the next week and my spreadsheet is ready to go. So if you want this freebie, again, the link is down in the description box and you can go download it there. One final thing I did want to show you for Google Meet is once you have completed all of the items on the checklist, you can easily reset it by clicking the More button and then clicking Uncheck All Items, and then it is ready to go for the next day. It is now 4:02, which means I'm officially off the clock. And one of the best things I started doing at the end of my workday is I created a sign-off routine that I follow every single day. It really helps me to realize, okay, my life as a teacher and my work schedule is done. Now I can move on to my personal time, because when you're working from home, it can be really difficult to stop working. So personally, my sign-off routine is very simple. It consists of just 3 things. First, I always check my emails one final time and respond to anything that needs to be responded to. Second, I clean my workspace and kind of reset it so it's ready to go for the next day. And then number 3, I set my power list, which is my list of the top 3 things I want to get done for the day for the next day so that I'm all set and ready to go. So once I am done teaching online, I always go for a walk, and I kind of alternate. Some days I will do a shorter walk for like 30 minutes, and then I will go home and do a workout, because Billy and I do have some workout equipment at home. It's very minimal, but it's enough to at least, you know, sweat and use our muscles. Some days I will do a longer walk, like an hour walk, which is what I'm doing right now. So I thought I would use this time to kind of share my thoughts on distance learning. I know that this time is stressful and it's causing anxiety for a lot of people, but personally, you know, I love to focus on the positive, and I think there are a lot of good things that will come from this. Number 1, I think we are all going to be a lot more tech savvy when it's done. Number 2, I think we're all going to have very creative ways to use technology with our students. And number 3, I think we're all going to be a lot more appreciative for our normal life in the classroom. So even though it is a stressful time, just focus on the positive things that can come from it. And I want to remind you that you as a classroom teacher are the #1 resource for your students. You are better than any technology tool or anything online. Like, you are their best tool. So make sure you are supporting your students and making sure they are healthy physically, emotionally, socially, all of that. Just keep checking in with them. All right, I had to cross the road and I wanted to do it safely, but I also want to be as big of a service to you all as I can. It's amazing how much I'm even learning. I thought I was tech savvy, but I'm learning so much. So I thought for my next video, I would do like a Q&A all about distance learning. So if you leave a comment down below with any questions that you have kind of on the topic, I will hopefully answer them in the next video. And then if there are specific things that need more elaboration, I can do future videos on those. So I hope that's helpful for you. Go ahead and leave all of your questions down in the comments and I will answer as many as I can in my next video. Can I just say that there is nothing better than coming inside after a chilly walk and smelling chili. I didn't even mean for that to be, you know, punny, but it smells so good. So now that my walk is done, it's a little bit after 5 p.m. I have about 45 minutes until Billy gets home. So I usually spend this time about the same as my lunchtime, where I'll do little chores around the house. I'll prep dinner. Obviously I don't need to do that today because of the chili, or I'll work on my business. I'll work on grad school, like whatever it is that needs to get done. I will typically do during this time so that once Billy gets home, I can kind of unplug. I don't need to be working. Him and I can kind of catch up on our days and talk to each other. We can eat dinner. And then my evening time has been spent very chill. I've been tired, which is surprising because you would think online teaching like would be less tiring than being in the classroom because you're seated most days, but I feel like it's more mentally exhausting. So after dinner, Billy and I usually watch some TV. I will take a shower, get in bed early, and that's about it. So I am gonna go ahead and end this vlog because the rest of my routine just looks like me in sweatpants on my couch. But I hope that you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up. Share it out with your teacher friends if you think that they would like it. Don't forget to leave a comment with any questions that you have and I will answer them in my next video. While you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss any future videos, including the Q&A. And as always, thank you for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video and for supporting my YouTube channel. If you want to check out any of my older videos, you can use the 2 links right down here. If you want to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, you can use the link right up here. The links to all of my social media sites, my Teachers Pay Teacher store, my merchandise store, and my Amazon store are in the description box, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.